but it's hot, really hot. Right here. Don't go to the
The shape of this room is very distinct. It's known as a panopticon shape, which is a Greek word that means all-seeing eye. That's because if a prison guard stood at the bottom of that central staircase, they'd be able to look around and see every cell in the room. There's 96 cells here altogether. Now this is to give the prison guard the best possible view of the jail, but it's also to make the prisoners think they're constantly being watched here. In the East Wing, we do have some more famous Irish prisoners. More of the Easter Rising leaders were held here before their execution. Now folks, if you look up to the first floor, you can see two cells side by side. On the right there, we have the cell of Edward Daly, who was the youngest one of the leaders to be executed. He was only 25 when he died. To his left, we have the cell of Eamon de Valera. This is where De Valera was held after the Easter Rising. Now Eamon de Valera, he was the first commander of Boland's Mills during the fighting, so he does meet the criteria to be executed. His life is spared. We're not 100% sure why De Valera wasn't shot here. Some historians think because he was born in New York City, he was a dual citizen of Ireland and the US, that's why his life was spared. There's one more cell I want to focus on here, folks. If you have a look at the ground floor here, you can see the cell of our very own Grace Gifford. This is where Grace was held 7 years after she got married in the jail. What a lot of people forget about Grace is that she was just as politically active as Joseph Plunkett was, and after Joseph's execution, she only became much more active. During the Irish Civil War, Grace was an artist. She sort of drew political cartoons that didn't exactly favour the government, so she's placed here as a political prisoner in 1923. While Grace is held here, she's given special permission to decorate her cell, and if you look inside her cell door, you'll be able to see a painting Grace did of the Virgin Mary and Child. So we are now standing in the Stone Breaker's Yard. We call it this because originally this is where the male prisoners were put to work. They would have broken stones into little pebbles like you see here. Stonebreaker's Yard is more well known for what happened here in 1916, because this is the site of the 14 executions of the Easter Rising leaders. Starting with Patrick Pearse, one by one, 13 of the men would have been brought to where you see this black cross. Once they were here, they would have been blindfolded and handcuffed with a piece of white card placed on their chest to act as the target. Because roughly where this flag is, to the 12-man firing squad. This would have been 11 live rounds of ammunition and 1 blank. Folks, where we are standing, this is one of the most historically significant sites in modern Irish history, because this is where the fate of Ireland was completely changed. What you have to remember about the Easter Rising is that it happened in 1916. We're in the middle of the First World War. While the rebellion itself was going on in Dublin, it didn't really have a lot of support behind it from the Irish population. Most Irish people felt this wasn't the right time to stage a rebellion. All that changes after these executions. Irish people are now very sympathetic towards these men and to their cause. So even though the Easter Rising itself has been a failure, these executions have now become this inciting incident that have put the wheels in motion for a future republic. When Maxwell ordered the deaths of these men, he wanted to do it to make an example out of them, but the exact opposite was achieved. These men have now been made martyrs for our freedom. These names live on in Ireland today. Maxwell himself, he later became known as the man that lost Ireland for England.
Like 3 weeks ago, I touched that out. Yeah, I know he's filming. Here's that skateboard. Oh I didn't say because I wasn't
Sì, io ho capito, ma proprio lì.